crypto, we have Embr in the group right now who are working on some absolutely amazing things that are going to absolutely change the game as far as, checkout, onboarding, and offboarding goes with both fiat and crypto payments. The applications for these guys are absolutely endless. What they can do. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having us. We're happy to be here, and we're excited to spread the word of Embr Checkout. We believe we're in the right place.
Awesome. You definitely are. We definitely have a lot of high level people in this room, and I'm also a part of some other groups too that I'll be able to share this with as well. So that'll hopefully help you guys out. Normally, I take the lead with this kind of stuff, ask a whole bunch of questions, but obviously we've talked before, and you guys do a great job in presenting your product. So I'll let you guys take the lead on this right here. We actually have African Whale in the group right here. His group is actually launching in the next week, so it'll definitely be beneficial for him to hear this as too. Good to have you here, African Whale. I'll give you the floor, Dan and Benjamin, if you want to start explaining stuff.
For sure. So I guess the best place to start is to describe. So me and Ben, we are here to discuss Embr Checkout. It is, in its broadest form, a set of payment tools to allow projects to bring potential investors from fiat all the way to tokens in wallet. When we say, from fiat to tokens in wallet, we do intend to cover every aspect of that journey. And we do it in such a way or are about to do it in such a way that puts the user first. Something that, calls back to a traditional Web 2 experience that you just don't see in Web 3 yet. Just like the internet 20 years ago, it's hard to access, it's a little clunky, it's new, and the existing tools that can on-ramp projects, websites from fiat are a little bit clunky even in themselves. They have limitations. They might not have, the most up-to-date compliance built in. Ours does. They might not have a heavy security focus. We do. Really, we've spent many months building this from the ground up to be the simplest answer to how do you get people that go to your website to buy your token without having to be some sort of, genius, like extremely, curious crypto person who's willing to put up with all the hoop jumping, going to dexes, etc. This is just an all-in-one from fiat to tokens in wallet, all from your website. And the beauty is that it's also easy for the project leaders to just drop the code into their back end and a couple copies and pastes, and that's it. You already have everything you need right there. And in a broad form, there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 different forms you can embed checkout into your website. Right now, we have 3 live. You can embed a widget into your website. You can embed a pop-out overlay where almost like a chat bubble, on a website for like a support, kind of similar to that, except it brings up our widget. And then you also have a modal where you can, let's say there's like a buy button, like, that will usually take you to like, Pancake Swap or Sphinx. You can actually link one up to pop up our widget, keep people from being redirected to some clunky deck somewhere. Our features are continuously being added in. We have many exciting things in the works for Embr Checkout, and what is currently available is but a fraction of what the true scale of utility that Checkout will have. And the best part for everyone listening, it's free. You do not pay us $3,000 like some competitors. It is free to install. You will go to our website, and you can generate your widget with various customizable options right there. And then you create an embed code, you drop it into your backend, and voila, within 5 minutes for many people, that's all it takes to get Embr Checkout on their website. It's a game changer. It really is. And if anyone wants an example of how it actually works in its most up-to-date form, I'm just going to drop a link here. That is actually the homepage of our website, which we tend to, guinea pig ourselves a little bit and make our website the testing grounds for all the new features. So the most up-to-date version is there right now. We have fiat integration coming within the month, is a safe estimation, hopefully the next few weeks or so. And at that point, you'll be able to go all the way from fiat directly to crypto all in one place without redirecting to a DEX. None of that. All in one place.
Yeah,
And
we've been very happy with it. For those of you guys that know me, I am one of the co-founders of Wanker Token, and Tevin is also in the room right here. He is also one of the founders and team members, and we went with Embr, and we've been super happy with the results since we have, because realistically, that's the key. Getting the people who aren't necessarily, confident and familiar with crypto to become, buyers and holders. Because, if you write out the steps of what it takes to actually, purchase on PancakeSwap, it's some 15 steps, involving, buying on an exchange, buying BNB, transferring it to a wallet, setting up a wallet. So it can be super intimidating for people who, really don't know, a whole lot about it. So, Embr makes it really easy to, as an introduction to crypto for sure.
That's literally the goal. We at Embr see that there is a huge problem with accessibility, and the entire space struggles with this exact same problem. The entire space. Any project really that doesn't make it as easy as possible for their investors to invest is hurting their project, not out of intention, but simply because there are easier options in the makes. And I mean, I'm sure Embr Checkout is just the first of what will likely be a wave of focuses just on accessibility, because that is really like the number one thing holding up Web3 and crypto and DeFi from being a real life practical utility. And Embr Checkout from the bottom up is built to be a real life practical utility that fills a real necessity for the space. There is not enough like padding for new people to really jump into this space without somehow screwing themselves up. Think like even when you buy BNB, you could buy BNB and send it to the wrong wallet address by accident. There's all sorts of things that can go wrong that you just don't think about the first time that you deal with crypto. I remember the first time I was dealing with crypto, I ran into all sorts of different problems trying to buy SafeMoon way back in the day, and that was a nightmare for me, and I think every single person in this chat right now can recall a similar experience, just struggling to go from money in bank account to tokens in wallet.
Yeah, I
And
mean you're 100%
really,
right. I remember first time I started messing with Bitcoin, and going on their
oh yeah.
network, and it takes 45 minutes. I would send it from crypto.com to Trust Wallet, and I was sure I messed something up because a half hour later still hasn't showed up, and I think it was like a $2,000 purchase, and I'm freaking
Mhm.
out like, oh my god, I just lost two thousand
Mhm.
dollars messing up. And I mean it was terrifying. It really was.
Mhm. Yeah, and the more ways that we can insulate people from like those cliff sides, that intimidate people away from participating, the better. Web3 and DeFi can be easy. It can be so much easier than what it currently is. And every single person that works with Embr, we're a group like 20, 30 people strong. And, we are all here simply on the passion of knowing that Web3 can be so much more accessible. And yeah, that's why, we're all really extremely motivated to get Embr Checkout out there. Considering it's free, I mean, free to embed, we will collect a 1% like convenience fee on transactions added on once we go live. But for the most part, we still believe that a free model really is the best way to make the entire space, accessible without turning it into some sort of profit machine, like some sort of greed machine. At the end of the day, the space needs Embr Checkout, and anyone who's willing to help bring in this new era, is doing themselves, their projects, and the entire space a favor, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
I've been dominating this a while. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ben? We can just keep going. So I think in general, there's a few different key places where things can be made a lot easier in this space, and ultimately the first one to start is making sure that people can actually get onboarded and invested into these projects, in the literal most simple way possible. The ultimate goal is to literally have 2 clicks, go maybe 3, go from fiat all the way to crypto. And one of the things too that I'd like to mention is that with Embr Checkout, a lot of times when you on-ramp cryptocurrency, you'll need to go through this KYC process, right? Even if you're trying to buy $25 worth of BNB from crypto.com or whatever, you'll have to go through the KYC process that centralized exchanges require of you, right? Our partners at Wire, they have an extremely heavy focus on compliance and making sure that they operate within the bounds of the law in the United States and the UK, which tend to be very strict, surprisingly. You're able to buy up to $500 worth of cryptocurrency without needing KYC, so long as it's $500 in the frame of a week. So let's say you want to buy, a couple times over the course of a week, $100. You'll be able to do that without having to go through KYC, which is a extremely nifty feature in an instance like this, where you're really trying to focus on making sure that people can go very quickly from fiat all the way to tokens in wallet. Now, of course, if you want to buy like $5,000 worth of tokens, you're going to have to go through KYC. But the KYC will still be contained within the payment flow of the widget. So you still won't be getting redirected. You still won't be going to some other page on some random website. It's all still contained right there, and you still funnel all your web traffic onto the same page. And that's really the beauty.
Yeah, it's amazing how many times we get in Telegram, Discord, bring your friends, bring your family to buy our token. And the first question is, how? How do I buy it? You have to download Binance. You then have to buy on Binance, pay the fee. You then have to wait X amount of days for Binance to clear you. You then have to send it to a wallet, and then have to download a wallet. You then have to wait for that transaction to go through. Sometimes it takes a minute. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes days. The amount of time I've sent something to my wallet, it's taken 2-3 days, and I generally think I've lost it. I've just lost it. And then it sometimes pops up, and sometimes it never does. Then you have to when you get into your wallet, you then have to get it from BNB to Smart Chain. Then you have to then go to PancakeSwap. Then you got to go off PancakeSwap to find the contract address somewhere, if it's on a Telegram. So then you have to go over to a Telegram or a website to get the contract address. And then it's like slippage. What slippage? How do I get the slippage? You then have to then go back to a Telegram, ask in the chat whatever the slippage is going to be. And then boom, it's so long. Imagine Amazon, the greatest thing on the internet, Amazon. Imagine you're going to buy an item and it takes all those steps to buy an item. They wouldn't make any sales, or hardly any sales. With Amazon, you go on it, you pick an item, you go to a checkout, you press buy, it's done. And in the crypto space, the argument is why? Why don't projects have this flow where you find a token you like, you go on the website, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, token in wallet. And if you think of it logically, everyone's customized to PancakeSwap or a swap of some sort. Actually, it's wrong. It is wrong. It should be as like an Amazon where you just go, or a Stripe or a PayPal, where you just go on a website, you like a token, and then a couple of clicks and the token's in your wallet you've bought. And that's the end of the story. And as Dan said earlier, anything less is hurting your project. It's hurting your investors, because there are so many, and we're talking a crazy number of people who won't buy that project's token because the flow is so long and so difficult, especially when you're brand new or even a month into crypto. You're talking millions of people who are every week, every month, every year coming into crypto brand new, and they don't know what they're doing, and the projects are losing crazy amount of income and purchases because people don't want to do all that flow. And I don't blame them. We are customized to it because we've been in the space a while. We know what we're doing. But when you have someone who's brand new, or as you see in the chats, bring your friends and family. Good luck. They've got no chance unless they've got someone physically holding their hand. They've got no chance. They've got no chance of getting that token within 24 hours unless they go through loads of editorials, loads of YouTube channels, where now this is the game changer. You will go on a website, you'll click the token you want, so obviously on the website, you just set your amount and press done. And then it's in your wallet. You can't have it any better. And for projects who don't have this moving forward, especially over the next couple of years, they will be left behind, because every project will onboard a fiat on-ramp because they have to, because you have to move with the times. And
if I can cut in right here, actually, we have 28 projects that have currently adopted Embr Checkout as of right now. We have 28 projects on, I believe
you're up to 28 already. That's crazy.
Within a month.
Yes.
Yeah, within a month.
Within a month. And on 3 blockchains, on BSC, on Moonbeam, and on BitGert. And in general, the point I'm trying to make is, our product is universal. It is inclusive of all chains, but it also has everything that you could possibly imagine, built right in. And when I mean that, one thing that I know for a fact someone is going to ask later if I don't bring it up is security. Why should I trust Embr Checkout? What do we do to make checkout secure? And how can we say that Embr Checkout deserves to be on everyone's websites? Well, beyond being just a client, we're actually formal partners with Hacken. Hacken is a world-renowned cybersecurity firm based out of Ukraine. And we actually had the chief business development officer and the co-founder of Hacken Proof, which is like the bug bounty side of Hacken's business, on our podcast. And I'm actually just going to drop that right down there. And the reason I mention that is because we take the security of the underlying smart contracts that power this, the technology from front to back, very seriously. When I say that Hacken rigorously vets every line of code and tells us to our faces that it could be better, they do it. When they put their certification of security on there, they're putting their reputation on the line. And they know that, and we know that. And the final version of checkout will have a little, I guess, text at the bottom saying audited by Hacken, which basically serves the same purpose as having a checkout flow. Like, let's say, that has like a verified by Norton or verified by McAfee, like that kind of experience for the user. So someone who might not necessarily be familiar with the token that they're about to buy with Embr still have a little bit of reassurance that there is a heavy security focus on the actual portal through which they're paying. And that's important to us because at the end of the day, I'm sure everyone here has heard the many, many sob stories and legitimate concerns of security in the space. You have, bridges and, being hacked constantly and social engineering and all these things. If you are not proactive in your security, then you are not doing enough. And that's the general footing that we take when we put everything in place for checkout. So Embr Checkout is audited from front to back by Hacken, and the final version will have an actual stamp of approval from Hacken. And not only that, there'll be some cool, nifty additional features built into Checkout as well that will be powered by Hacken's technology. And yeah, so generally speaking, we're on very friendly terms with those guys over there. And anyone who uses Embr Checkout can know that, there's no guarantees in the Web3 space. There isn't. But we have, as the video I just posted in the chat will mention, we do take every preventative measure possible. And additionally, in terms of just cybersecurity and auditing, Embr Checkout has anti-fraud monitoring built right in through our partners at Wire. So once fiat on-ramping goes live, that means that, yes, there will actually be someone from Wire monitoring transactions to look for suspicious instances of potential fraud. Not only that, it will also have, it is anti-money laundering compliant, AML compliant. And that means that currently the checkout, will have the ability to detect blacklisted wallet addresses, and basically will make it a much more attractive service for people who need to stay within the lines and need to stay away from potentially, shady business. And that is a big part of our focus on security and making sure that we have a high compliance standard. And yeah, between all those features, focusing on safety, it's actually probably one of the safest ways to buy your cryptocurrency, and you can plug it right into your website at no cost to you.
That's awesome. And like I said, we've been super happy with it. Before I hit, right about when I was hitting the record button, you were starting to tell me about some new things that you kind of, came on in the last 24 hours. What's going on? What did you guys add to it?
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
So, Checkout is very much so an iterative product. We have, every week or two, you'll have another, feature, another form or something, that adds to the experience. And, we're in beta right now, right? We're not actually fully launched yet. And we had, for the longest time, like a good month or so, we had only a widget form that you could embed into your website. Now you can actually embed almost like a chat bubble pop-up, where it'll sit in a tiny little space in the corner of the screen instead of being a big widget on your screen real estate on your web page. So you just click it and it pops up the widget so that it doesn't actually obstruct anything on your website unless you want it to, unless you click it, which is a very nice way of making it a little bit more subtle and a little more flexible for instances where you might not necessarily want a widget, eating up a whole bunch of space on your website. But the beautiful thing too, it's customizable. So right now there are two pre-configured colors that you can choose. However, for those who can kind of look at the code, you can actually change the hex to any color that you want. You can technically make the Embr Checkout little floating button to pop out the widget. You can make it green, you can make it pink, you can make it look however you want. Of course, you'd want to make it look pretty and make sure that it fits the logo and everything else. But yes, you can. We're finally getting to the point where you have some customization options.
That's awesome.
In addition to the pop-out overlay, which is like that little chat bubble thing I was just describing, you can also do a modal overlay. So you can basically assign an element, like let's say a lot of websites have like a buy token, and it'll direct you to like Pancake Swap. It'll direct you to Sphinx or whatever DEX, right? You can also have it where instead of sending you away, it pops up the widget, and you can just buy right there on the spot, no redirections. And before I move on from that point, speaking of DEXs, one of the beauties of Embr Checkout is the fact that it uses your own existing liquidity pool. So it's not like you give us, a some sort of separate pool of liquidity for just to work with checkout. We actually plug into our checkout into your existing liquidity. As long as it's a Uniswap compatible DEX and an EVM compatible chain, chances are we can plug Embr Checkout directly into your existing infrastructure for your token, and you'll be able to basically provide a interface on your website that links people directly to that DEX. I mean, that interface literally being Embr Checkout.
Yeah, I have that on. I have my
really
website. I have Wanker's website pulled up right now, and I have your little button right here and your overlay on it here, and you can see how small it is, guys. I mean, it's just a little square right here with you got our logo on it. You just connect your wallet to it, and in a couple clicks, you're purchasing it through PancakeSwap. It could not be any easier. So I'll leave this up while you talk about it, just so people can kind of see what it looks like.
Yeah, and the beauty is, the less redirecting, and the more funneling people and keeping them on your webpage, the better, right? Because what happens too, like let's say someone buys a token, they get redirected to PancakeSwap to complete the purchase, and then they hear flipping sounds as they're, dealing with all the options, and they're like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if I trust a pancake flipping sound with $1,000. You know, you don't have to worry about any of that anymore. At the end of the day, this is a new world for buying DeFi tokens, and eventually there'll be e-commerce applications to this too. So one day, an ultimate goal is to have peer-to-peer payments as well, and pre-configurable payment links that literally basically allow you to send someone a pre-configured link that you can share on like social media or through a text message that basically gets them to the point where you have to sign the transaction. You see like, all right, you're sending this much token, here's the fees, accept or no, and cutting out all those extra steps between peer-to-peer payments as well. So there's a boatload of things that Checkout will be able to do that simply just don't exist on the market yet. And, I think will become standard and commonplace in the near future. People like accessibility. People don't want to have to sit there making sure that they're not making a mistake with slippage or, are they at the right DEX? Did they do something wrong? Why is this token taking so long? Whatever. We've completed Ethereum swaps on Checkout in under a minute, which is like, doesn't sound incredible. But when you think, like, if anyone here has ever swapped an Ethereum token before, that shit takes a while. We actually have a proprietary router infrastructure on the back end that actually not expedites, but streamlines the process of transactions on the back end and theoretically makes it as snappy and quick as possible. And theoretically even quicker than using a DEX's router backend to complete simple purchases. And we have been able to, swap Ethereum tokens and all sorts of, other tokens. And like many tokens you can swap in 15, 20 seconds. It's mind-boggling. Everything about it is meant to be high performance, accessible, secure, and beneficial to the projects that decide to embed it.
That's awesome, man. I couldn't be any more excited about this and about the future. And remember, guys, this is all just in the beta phase right here. Once V2 launches, why don't you talk a little bit real quick about the eventual goals that you guys were kind of explaining to me about, like offboarding and like how that'll work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have a lot of ambitious plans for Embr Checkout, and through the various different parties that come together to make Checkout a thing. Our partnership with Wire, for instance, we will one day be able to offer off-ramping as well as on-ramping. How long it'll take for that to become a reality, it's still unclear at this point. But the technology is there, and Wire already has a partnership with Plaid, which is able to take care of that. And it's like the high-end off-ramp service that the U.S. Exchanges use. Not only that, we also have plans to introduce now. The specific form this will take is still unknown for sure, but we want to have cross-chain swapping. We want to be able to make it so Embr Checkout will be able to execute smart contract calls across different networks. And for the most part, we're pretty confident that that will come to reality. We have, all the things in place for the most part to take care of that. This would likely come, a few months down the line as like a, speaking that checkout is an iterative product, and there will be multiple updates and multiple features added in as time goes on. That is one that we're extremely excited to potentially offer, specifically being able to, say, take Wanker token and exchange it for, a token on, let's say, Polygon. That would be pretty freaking awesome, right? So, Embr Checkout has, short-term features that are going to be here sooner rather than later, features that are probably like a month or two out, and then features for months down the line. And that's the beauty of Checkout, is by onboarding Checkout, you basically join the journey with us. All the beautiful things that we add to Embr Checkout, you will also gain access to. And when I say we're a clever group of people, we are. We do have a lot of really exciting things coming for Embr Checkout, and we're just getting started. Right now, our current widget allows simple swaps. We just enabled the modal overlay and the pop-out overlay, which are pretty nice. We will also have a full page flow, for people who really want to, I guess, provide a few extra features to that experience. But then we also have something called Embr.org coming down the line too, which will basically be our product that allows, Embr Checkout allows projects to have pages almost like a coin market cap, but with Embr Checkout, and all sorts of nifty little additional features in there, and additional accesses to different products that Embr will have. So Embr Checkout is just one thing out of a few different things that we have going on over at Embr. And unfortunately, I can't describe some of the other stuff that's going to kind of, integrate into Checkout and how Checkout integrates into our larger vision. Some of that stuff just isn't public yet. However, there are some extremely exciting integrations and I guess what you would say potentials for what it is we're doing. And we could not be more excited to finally be at the finish line of this beta and ready to show the world.
That's super exciting, and I won't hold you to a timeline. I know you said a couple weeks away, so that probably puts you sometime in June. You feel pretty confident that it'll be off the beta version and on to V2 or V1, actually, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us to call any of them V1s or V2s. We're still, I guess, actually, ironically, it's my job to kind of figure out how we can communicate these updates and, the version numbers and whatever. So there will be a clearer way of describing the different iterations in the near-term future. But yeah, basically, the version that will have, fiat on-ramping and it'll basically be like the full production, version of Embr Checkout is just around the corner. And, I know there are a couple of people from our community in here, but so I ask you just to keep it probably June is most likely when we'll see the bulk of those updates being made. And it's going to be really exciting. We could not be happier to be here, and we are extremely excited to see, where we can take this.
And something something that you didn't necessarily mention, but I think it's worth putting in. I know you mentioned that once it goes live with the full feature, it's a 1% that the buyer pays. Now, sometimes people get hung up on numbers too much, like 1%. It could end up being a lot. What I'm going to say to that is this: How many times have you been on Pancake Swap and you tried to buy a token that was running or something like that, running really hot, and the
Hmm.
slippage is completely messed up, and you have to mess around with slippage and it denies your transaction, and next thing you know, you end up paying 30-40% more for the you get 30-40% less tokens because of it. Your full version's going to have
Uh-huh.
like an auto slippage function in it, right?
I believe so. It's like pre-configured, and I believe on Embr.org there will most likely be an auto slippage built in. I know the technology is there, so if auto slippage is that's one aspect I'm not 100% sure. I know we pre-configure slippage,
Right.
and I know that the system is also sort of flexible. It prioritizes user experience, so it will always make sure that there is a little bit of room to make sure that transactions go through smoothly and quickly. Now, this is part of the magic. Our CTO is literally just on another level. He's made it in such a way where it will always account for maximizing or just say keeping the user experience intact, which means like quicker transaction times, which means that I imagine the slippage does adjust, as a static slippage would theoretically still have errors when things are running hot. So I know Embr.org will have like automated slippage, and as for now, I'm not 100% sure if I can advertise it as such, but I do know that we tend to be pretty careful to make sure that the user experience doesn't get bogged down by not putting enough slippage, so it's sitting there for a while. Gas fees also. So you might pay like an extra 10 cents in gas fees on BSC, but that extra 10 cents of gas fees on BSC makes sure that your transaction goes through extremely smoothly. So all these factors, are put into play to make sure that the end user experience is about as flawless as it gets. And that's how I would describe that. And also, you make a really good point, though. Also, think, when you go into a token with a 10% tax, you're technically losing oftentimes 10% of your tokens off the bat, which does mean that an extra 1% could feel like, why? But you also already lost 10%. Doing so easily is, worth that extra $1 for every $100 you spend. When you really break it down, $1,000 purchase is like $10, and a 1% fee. If you're spending $1,000, I don't see $10 being like an insurmountable fee, especially when you consider, where I live, there's like an 8% sales tax on anything you buy in real life. And just in general, dexes are hover somewhere around 0.5% or so, give or take. And also worth mentioning too, when fiat on-ramping comes, that is its own fee. So when you add together all the fees from fiat all the way to tokens, it will be a little bit more. Will be a little bit more of a fee than just a swap from native to token. You'll have the credit card fee, which might be like 3-4% or so. And then you'll have the DEX fee, which is like 0.5, and then you'll have our fee. So all in all, from all the way from fiat to tokens and wallet, you might pay 4 to 5% of a fee, added on. But when you consider the amount of steps that you are cutting out in that process, I do feel confidently that it is fair. It's fair to us, it's fair to the users, and it's fair to the projects.
Yeah,
but once again,
absolutely.
Not everyone will agree. Mm-hmm.
You pay a percentage fee anyway when you buy from credit card on any exchange. So it's just the same sort of thing. It's just a quicker flow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome, guys. Like I said, I'm a big fan, and we're on boarded with you guys already, and I can't wait for the full version to come out for sure. Obviously the market's taking a shit over the last few weeks, and everything's pretty down right now. So we've been holding off on some of our advertising that we would normally be doing because it just really wouldn't have any effect right now. So right now we're really working hard on our utilities and our Wankerworks utility, which is going to really make use of Embr with how people can get paid. So I
Mhm.
mean, it's awesome to think that independent contractors who list their services, whether they're graphic designers or web developers, that they can get paid in whatever token that they want through you guys. If they can get paid in
Yeah.
fiat currency, they can do that as well. Customers who need their services can pay in either of those options. I mean, that's amazing.
Mhm. The beauty too, right? We described this on our episode of Today at Embr yesterday. It's a podcast for our company. The ultimate goal is to, I mean, it's not even that far away actually, is to have it where just in a very simplistic example here, a buyer will be able to choose what cryptocurrency they want to pay for something with, and then the seller will get to choose what kind of cryptocurrency they want to accept, or whether they want to accept fiat. Basically, it puts all the limitations of DeFi aside, and it puts the power back in the hands of both the buyer and the seller to decide for themselves how to use these trustless payment options, right? That work for them, and that's something that's mind-boggling. Like I could theoretically one day pay Ben, $25 in Embr, and he could choose to receive it in USDC. He could choose to receive it in AVAX. He could choose to receive it in fiat. There's e-commerce applications to what we're doing with Embr Checkout, in addition to peer-to-peer transactions, and in addition to allowing projects to provide the absolute easiest way to take potential investors from fiat all the way to tokens and wallet.
Man, that's super exciting. Andy, what's up? I see Mr. Miner on here from AUSMT. Um, that might be a
Good
pretty
morning, good
good.
morning. Sorry,
What's up, buddy?
I'm running a little. Sorry, guys, I was running a little late this morning. Jump on.
Yeah,
Hello,
I mean,
hello.
No worries. Good morning.
I'm gonna send you this. Yeah, he's over in Australia, so it's already tomorrow morning. But this might be something really good for you guys too, Andy, to put on your website. This is what we have on our website as a widget to where people can purchase our token with just 2 clicks right through Pancake Swap, and it's just absolutely amazing. They just connect their wallet, click a button, but it's so much more than that. I mean, you missed a little bit of it, so I'll send you the full video of it afterwards. But Embr might be something that you guys want to consider to make it easier for people to buy the token.
Oh, most definitely. I'm speaking to Ben at the moment as well. It's just we're definitely interested. I want to have a look at it. I've got a few other little things that we need to tick off the list. Yeah, but 100% interested. Looks cool. Very cool.
Hell yeah. Happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. And it's only going to get better. The next step is fiat, and that's when the floodgates really open, right? You guys are getting in early. Just in general, once the floodgates open to fiat, we do expect there to be quite a demand for this product. There's just nothing like it. There really isn't. And, what we're doing is going to start a new era to DeFi. And we're happy that every single person in this chat is privy to it. And we hope to help as many people as we can, because ultimately, ease of access to Web3 is how mass adoption happens. Mass adoption will not happen until Web3 becomes less clunky and it becomes more accessible to someone who's used to the comforts that Web 2 has afforded us, right? When you go to Amazon, like Ben was describing earlier, 1-2 clicks, you're already, your shipment's already on the way. It could be in your house in 2 hours. The simplicity, the accessibility, it sets it apart from its competitors. And established competitors like eBay, even if it's peer-to-peer, and Walmart have struggled to keep up because Amazon has just consistently beaten everyone else to the punch in being the most accessible and user-friendly experience of them all. And that's kind of what we're shooting for. Not to compare ourselves to Amazon, but I mean in terms of convenience and user first, kind of mentality, we do believe Embr Checkout will be that option.
And I have to agree with you what you said earlier, that you hit the nail right on the head. For projects that don't have fiat integration or a simple widget on their website for fiat integration, they're doing their investors a disservice, because they're making their customers go through the painful process of all the way from Exchange, all the way to BNB, all the way to PancakeSwap. And even when you go on PancakeSwap, it's not the prettiest website. Sometimes you get error messages. Sometimes when you click on buy on PancakeSwap, it takes you to Cake or a different token, and then you've got to find the address. For projects, it's very important to give their customers the most easiest, acceptable way of buying their token at the quickest time. The longer it takes for someone to buy a token, the more percentage it goes up they don't press the buy button at the end of the transaction, because they're just annoyed and frustrated they can't get the token. We have a situation where we have quite a few onboarded on a chain called Bryce and or BitGert, and there's a lot of people that get frustrated because it's so hard. It's so hard to buy it. When you guys are on BNB, it's quite straightforward, but they've got a lot of people on a lot of other these very small blockchains, and it's so hard to physically buy them. You have to go through so much. Sometimes you have to have their actual currency in their native token before you can buy their token. But how do you buy the native currency when it's such a falafel? This way, it's like, as Dan said, like an Amazon, like a PayPal, like a Stripe for Web3. You couple of clicks, click on a website, a couple of clicks, tokens in your wallet. There's no messing around. And for everyone in the crypto space, it has to change. And crypto's been around for such a long time. And yeah, these widgets are out there. And as Dan said earlier, but they charge. The cheapest one we found is $4,000. That's the cheapest one we found. Now, it's a case of that's no problem. You can spend that money. We just want to roll it out to the mass. Just give it to everyone, as long as it'll get to a stage where people will have to do some KYCing. But overall, as long as you've got a lot of liquidity, you've got a strong token, you'll have Embr Checkout on your website. And not only do you have Embr Checkout on your website, when Embr.org does launch, you'll be able to buy from the day it launches up to 9,000 tokens minimum within a couple of clicks. And that is a massive game changer. We support 21 blockchains at the moment, and that's at the moment. That will go up and up and up over time. We still need to embed Solana and other big blockchains. But again, that alone will be huge. Every widget that we'll have will be Hacken proofed, as long as it's proved by Hacken. And again, when people see your widget on your website, know what our plan is for projects to have Embr Checkout. It's not to have a link to PancakeSwap. Why would you send your customers down that road or down that rabbit hole where it's really hard to do? Your job is to make sure your customers get your token at the quickest and easiest convenience as possible. Embr Checkout, 2 clicks, done. That's our goal.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome stuff, guys. Oh, sorry, I had the mute button on there. Awesome stuff, guys. You always bring so much, knowledge every time we talk to you guys. We're getting close to an hour here, so if you guys have anything, further that you want to say to close it up, we can wrap it up. I'll put a pretty bow on it and get this posted onto YouTube, and I will. I'll pin it into my group, and I'll send it to some different token owners that I know that would definitely be interested in this.
If you don't mind, Mike, we've got Andy and we've got Jeremy from another token who's signing up, but we can't pronounce it. We can't say it because we've got some members in this community.
Right.
But if you guys got any questions for us, floor's yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're here to answer questions. I'll take silence as we've done a good job answering
that's what I was saying, man. You guys explained everything about it. So I mean, Definitely the big thing. We'll get some people in touch with you to definitely want to know a little bit more outside of this forum right here. Anybody any questions while we got them here?
I'd just like to add the link tree in the chat. I posted a little bit up there now. It's linktree/Embr checkout. Definitely give that a look. You'll find all the resources you need, and we'll constantly add more resources to that link tree as time goes on. You can sign up for early access. You can get in contact with us. You can see our LinkedIn so that you know what you're dealing with, who we are as a company, etc. So that's the bread and butter of Embr Checkout. If you have any need to consolidate all the links, that is the one for you.
And guys, I'd like to finish on a note, if that's okay. We've got a couple of CEOs in the chat. Obviously, Andy, I'll speak to you afterwards. Jeremy, I'll speak to you afterwards. If you guys have got any projects as well that you think will really benefit from having a fiat on-ramp on their website, just give us their details or give them our details. We'll be more than happy to talk to them, give them a VC, go through it all with them. And onwards and upwards, and let's change crypto together, change the user experience for a lot better. And we start from the ground and we build foundations, and together we will build something special.
Awesome, guys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to join us. And, definitely a lot of people are going to see this after the fact. And I'll actually personally, I usually don't do this for people, but, obviously, I'm invested with you guys, with you guys being on our website and going to be such a big part of our utility. I will actually send the video personally to a bunch of team owners that I personally know. That may not have either been in the group or weren't able to listen to this. So I'll definitely send it over to some people, and you should be getting some people in contact with you for sure, because you definitely deserve it.
Thank you so much.
That, Mike. I really do appreciate that.
Awesome, guys. That was Embr with us discussing the future of crypto checkouts with both fiat and crypto. And they got some huge things planned, and I can't wait to find out what they're doing next. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys again soon.
Have a good one, everyone.
All right. Take care now.